When you visit your local fish store, you frequently come across magnificent fish like these, the rainbow fish. And this is my in-depth guide to keeping them healthy and successfully. Hi, I'm Russ, and I've been in the aquarium hobby now for over 40 years. This beautiful aquarium here is full of many different species of rainbow fish, from the Bozeman, the Western, the Gold River, the Lake Katubu. We have Susie rainbows in here. We have Lake Poverty rainbows in here, Iranian reds. Quite a big selection of different rainbows. In this video, we're going to just take a look at what's needed to set up a rainbow fish aquarium, what's needed to keep them healthy and thriving so they breed in your aquarium. So we'll be taking a look at tank size, heating, water parameters. We'll take a look at maintenance as well. But to start with, we'll take a look at the tank setup. Now, some rainbow fish will grow up to 15 centimeters in length. So you're going to need quite a large aquarium to house them. So they're one, happy, and for two, you can see them doing the displays when they start schooling together. So I wouldn't go for anything less than 4 foot in length. This is 240 litres, which is around 52 gallons. I'd also look at having an aquarium with a lid on there because they are notorious jumpers. If you've got a rimless aquarium, then I would either look at netting it so they can't jump out, or keeping the water level 2 inches from the top. The rainbow fish do frequent the middle to the top area of the aquarium, so substrate isn't really an issue for the fish themselves, but substrate is an issue for the plants that are required in the aquarium. So personally, I go for the more better quality soils to start off with, the Tropica, the fluvals, mainly because I want my plants to have the best start possible. So the plants thrive, so the fish thrive. So I would get my soil. I tend to put my soil into filter media bags. So if you do change the plants, the roots don't pull the soil up to the surface. The roots will penetrate filter media bags. So it's win-win there. Then I personally like to go for a finer gravel. And that is because some of the tank mates that you can add to the aquarium later with your rainbow fish would prefer the finer gravels. So once the substrate's in, then we start taking a look at hardscape. Now, rainbow fish are river fish, so you're better off looking at rounded rocks rather than jagged rocks like dragonstone. Dragonstone could actually damage your rainbow fish because they are fast movers. They like to dart about. So you don't want them catching themselves on any sharp pieces and damaging the scales. So rounded rocks are way better for a rainbow fish aquarium. Personally, though, I love a bit of wood. Wood helps keep the water quality or the water parameters stable. And they're also great for some of the tank mates that you can add to rainbow fish aquariums as well. So once your substrate, your rocks and your wood's in place, then you're going to take a look at plant selection. Now, epiphyte plants are a great addition to any rainbow fish aquarium. They can be glued or tied to the wood, to the rocks. But then you want to also be looking at fast growing stem plants because they will help keep the water quality. They will help by feeding on the nitrates and the nitrites and the ammonia that are produced by the fish waste and the nitrogen cycle. So epiphytes like Anubias, Bucephalandra, Java ferns are all great plants to tie to your hardscape. And then you want to be looking at, like I say, fast growing stem plants. I love the lotus tiger lily. It's a bulb plant. Once it's settled in your aquarium, it will produce sister bulbs which you can move to other parts of your aquarium like I have here. So I have 2. There's actually 3 plants there and 2 plants there. Because they're fast growing, they do aid with water quality. And then you can take a look at plants like cryptocorynes. Even though Rainbowfish do have a little bit of a taste for cryptocoryons. This one here just looks magnificent. They do kind of eat away at the leaves a little bit, but rainbowfish love a bit of plant in the diet anyway, and we will cover diet later on in this video as well. Amazon swords are also a great addition to add to your rainbowfish aquarium, but you just have to consider that if you're going to introduce a pleco as a tank mate for your rainbowfish, the pleco will more than likely destroy your Amazon sword. So just take that into account if you are going to add plecos to your aquarium. When you add live plants, not only are they going to aid with the filtration of the water, they also obviously look aesthetically beautiful like this aquarium here. They offer sanctuary to the fish, so when you walk past, sometimes your fish will get startled. It just gives them somewhere to go and hide. It gives the females somewhere to hide from the males, and it also, they come into their own when it comes down to spawning. And we will cover spawning later on in the video too. Now, rainbowfish are quite an easy fish to keep, but the water parameters have to be good for them. So water temperatures from 73 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit, with 22 to 28 degrees Celsius would be perfect for them. This runs at 78 degrees Fahrenheit. KH up to 15. A GH between 4 and 8, and pHs from 6.5 to 7.5. My pH in this aquarium tends to run round about 6.8. As the tank matures, bacteria will form on every surface within your aquarium, and that bacteria will turn the harmful ammonia produced by the fish waste into the harmful nitrites, but will then also turn the nitrite into the less harmful nitrates. Nitrates will be taken out of the water by the plants. So the plants, this is why I say the plants will aid in filtration, but they're not the only filtration you're going to need. I would also look at either a canister filter or a sump filter. The mechanical filtration is a must for a rainbowfish aquarium, and I would also look at probably over filtering rather than under filtering. When canister filters and sump filters put the water back into the aquarium, that creates flow. Flow is something that rainbowfish require. They are naturally a river fish, so flow is a must. But I would also look at adding a wave maker into the aquarium. A wave maker will aid in the circulation of the water, which aids in the filtration, but also just gives the rainbowfish that required flow. And you will often see the rainbows dancing in the flow from a wave maker. Now, rainbowfish don't require specific lighting, but you do require lighting to see those beautiful colours from the Bozeman, the Suthi, the Lake Katubus. So without lighting, you're going to miss out on those beautiful colours. But one thing that does require lighting in the aquarium is the plants. Now, lighting in here is the fluval plant lights, and I will admit they're not cheap, but you can get cheaper lights for the plant growth. And to get optimum plant growth, you're going to be looking at having your lights on for around 8 hours per day. So that means you need to look at when you have your lights come on. There's no point having the lights on during the day if you're at work or at school, but have them on more later on in the evening, so you actually benefit from the lights being on to see the beautiful aquarium that you've produced. When adding heaters to your aquarium, I would personally look at having at least 2 heaters in the aquarium, just because of the volume of the water. If you have a heater on one side, that helps keep the water temperature regular throughout the aquarium. Even though the plants will add oxygen naturally to the water, I would also consider buying an air pump and running a couple of air stones in there as well. Rainbowfish love highly oxygenated water, so for me, an air pump on top of the plants is a must. I would also consider adding botanicals to your aquarium. Botanicals like alder cones, catappa leaves, different types of pods that you can buy, like the acacia pod, like the velvet pod. They all help keep the water parameters stable. Stability is what you are really looking for in any aquarium, and botanicals will add that and also give you that natural look as well. When it comes to buying rainbow fish, a good amount of the fish we come across in our local fish stores are farmed. But we are still able to buy wild rainbow fish. Now, they are classed in the wild by the IUCN Red List as endangered. So if you are buying wild rainbow fish, just check that they do come from a sustainable source. What we don't want is to make a wild species of rainbow fish that's endangered, extinct for our own personal pleasure. Rainbow fish are a schooling fish, so it's always recommended to buy at least 6 in the group so they can school together. But I would always look at outnumbering the males with females at a ratio of at least 2 to 1. What this does during spawning will give the females a little bit of respite from those males that are looking to spawn. When choosing rainbow fish, the males are more colourful than the females, but in a tank setup in the shop, colour isn't always a thing to look for in rainbow fish. As rainbow fish get older, the colour enhances more. A rainbow fish can look quite drab in your aquarium. Even up to 12 months later, they can still not have full colour. Rainbow fish are one of those species that colours does enhance as they get older. So when you're buying fish, colour isn't really something that you can go off. Look more for fish that aren't diseased, fish that aren't carrying white spot, fish that are swimming freely and look happy in the setup. Look out for clamped fins. Look out for parasites in the fish. If the fish has got a sunken stomach, I personally wouldn't buy any fish out of that tank that day. When you're considering tank mates for your rainbow fish, take a look at fish that will not only live side by side with your rainbow fish, but will also interact. So larger tetras like cardinals, the silver tips, larger asporas, fish that school together will shoal and interact with your rainbow fish, and they will give you some awesome displays. Then take a look at cleanup crew. Cleanup crew that's going to keep the algae levels down. Cleanup crew that's going to go through the gravel and just pick up all the detritus so the mechanical filtration will take it out. Fish like plecos, hillstream loaches, corridoras. I would consider not looking at things like a mano shrimp or any form of shrimp or snail, because the rainbow fish will actually look at those as being a source of food. Even though they are not an aggressive fish, they would be their natural foods in the wild. When it comes to tank maintenance, I think water changes are a must. Some people will disagree with that. I'd look at doing 30 to 40% water changes weekly. This is what I do, and as you can tell, my rainbow fish thrive on that. When you're adding the water, the rainbow fish love it. They colour up, they interact with the fresh water that comes into the aquarium, but the plants will love it as well. Now, I would always recommend testing the source water as well as the water in your aquarium regularly. That comes down to, for me, using a decent water test kit. Water test kits like the API Master Test Kit or the NT Labs test kits. Personally, I wouldn't recommend using strips because I don't think the strip test kits are very accurate. Yes, they might be fast and save a little bit of time, but if they're not accurate, you're just wasting your time. After a good water change, you will regularly see spawning activity from your rainbow fish males. And what they will do, they will select a part of the plant and they will perform some little dance which will attract the female, and he will entice her into the plants where she will spawn. Now, rainbow fish are egg scatterers, so eggs will just go all over the plants. Now, if you're looking at breeding rainbow fish, then you may be worth introducing spawning mops or selecting plants that you can easily remove into another aquarium. Rainbow fish are omnivores, which means they require plant matter and protein in the diet. Plant matter, I feed these crushed, shelled garden peas I also chop up spinach and nettles, boil them for about a minute just to soften the leaves, and add them to the aquarium. As for protein, I add daphnia, bloodworm, mysis, glassworm, brine shrimp. They are all going to be great foods for your rainbow fish. But then you need to look at also good quality flake and pellet foods like the fluval bug bite range, for instance. That is full of insects like black fly larvae, which give your rainbow fish a natural source of food. Now this tank here is just one of the aquariums that I have. And if you'd like to see some of the other aquariums I have and their inhabitants, then watch this video next, and I'll see you there. Take care.